Ramesh, we are live.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning to everyone. And sorry, there was some technical glitch and we could not start on time. Uh, there's almost a terrible 20 minutes delay. Terribly sorry about that. So I welcome you all to the ARSI monthly webinar. We have been conducting these technical webinars on every first Sunday of the month for the past few months as such. Today we have Nitin, VU to JEK, and VU to WMY Subramani, both from AMSAT India, presenting regarding AMSAT India, Introduction to AMSAT India and its activities from 2000 to 2025 and beyond. Once again, welcoming you all on behalf of Amateur Radio Society of India. I will hand it over to Madhu, VU to MUD, to introduce the presenters. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh. Uh, as you have all been aware, we have been conducting this monthly webinars on different topics of amateur radio interest. Today we have two presenters. One is Subramani, whom we fondly call as Mani, VU to Whiskey Mike Yankee. He is a retired space environmental simulation engineer with the UR Rao Satellite Center, Bangalore. In his 38 years of service, he has been involved in conducting space environmental simulation tests on all the spacecrafts, including prestigious ones like the Chandrayaan-1, the Mars Orbiter mission, Chandrayaan-2, and the latest Chandrayaan-3 at various stages and levels of their construction. Like I said, he's also his call sign is VU to Whiskey Mike Yankee, VU to WMY. Advanced grade license. He's been in a ham since 1986. He is active on all amateur radio bands and frequencies and modes, including the latest narrowband software-based digital modes. He has worked more than 150 countries across all continents, including Antarctica. He's currently holding the post of station director of ISRO's Upagraha Amateur Radio Club, VU to URC, at the UR Rao Satellite Center. He is one of the founder members of AMSAT India, an organization for the design, development, and launching of amateur satellites in India. He has played a very important active role in the configuration and on-air testing, in-orbit testing, and evaluation of HAMSAT. The VU 52, I think, was the call sign of the satellite that we are very actively using. And the PSL is C45 POEM payload AISAT-1, which was recently very active with the SSTV signals there. He is currently holding the post of Director, Educational Outreach Program of AMSAT India. He is actively engaged in establishing amateur radio satellite ground stations in schools and engineering colleges and training the students and faculty members in the areas of real-time tracking, receiving and decoding of telemetry. He is also conducting hands-on workshops connected to practical perspectives of satellite communication and training the students and faculty to enable them to get ham licenses. Welcome, Mani. We also have Nitin Mutin. He was originally licensed as VU3 Tango Yankee Golf VU3 TYG in 1991 and recently upgraded to general grade VU to Juliet Echo Kilo VU to JEK last year, that is 2024. He is the current secretary of AMSAT India and is very active on all amateur satellites. His main interest has been decoding telemetry from almost any satellite that's over India, and he's also involved in the educational outreach. So, welcome Nitin. You can take it up, continue with the presentation.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Madhu, and thank you, Ramesh. Thanks to ARSI for uh, providing this opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Okay. So I think there is some audio doubling that's happening, Madhu. I can hear my own audio back, um, but I will continue because we're already late. So thank you all for joining this session.
There is nothing coming through at our end, Nitin.
Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let me know once you can see my sharing. Okay, it's okay, Madhu. I can. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope everybody can see. Madhu, is it visible? My sharing?
Yes, visible, visible.
Okay. So thank you all. So what we are going to talk today is about the AMSAT India, the journey, past, present, and future. So myself, VU to JEK Nitin, and we also have Mani Subramani VU to WMY on the call today. So the agenda that we'll be covering is about AMSAT India, activities, past, present, and future. Okay, so this is about AMSAT India, initially formed as an informal satellite working group in the year 1998 in Bangalore by a few scientific-minded people and Indian radio amateurs who have a deep interest in diverse aspects of space and satellite communication. And then this group in 2003, this was restructured to form an organization called as AMSAT India, with its headquarters in Bangalore, with the wider goals and objectives. This is a non-profit and a non-governmental organization involved in the design, development, and launch of amateur radio payloads, satellites in India, and it's the only national body and the focal point in India recognized by AMSAT International. We are also registered under the Karnataka Society Act with the Register of Societies of Bangalore. And the primary objectives of the organization is to promote satellite communications among Indian radio amateurs and educating young generation in India, especially students, on the application of satellite technology in the field of radio communication.
Nitin, can you
And
go to
also
full
to
screen
engage
sharing?
with the Indian Space Research Organization Academia to design and develop, launch amateur radio payloads and satellites with an aim to foster amateur radio participation in space research. Sorry,
Can you go to full screen?
I'm in full screen.
No, next slide is also visible for us.
Okay. One second, let me.
I think it's okay. We can go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Okay, fine. Um, okay, that's about AMSAT India. And currently, these are the office bearers. We have Ramesh Ramsubu, VU to RMS, who's the president. Vice president is MS Giridhar, VU to MGD. I'm the secretary. Treasurer Venkatesh, VU3 India Charlie Charlie. And Subramani, who is the director of educational relations, VU to WMY. We recently had a change on the technical director, so this is still to be decided. And then, as you can see, we have a technical committee comprising of Ganeshan, a very good home brewer, VU3 GEK, Dr. Ravindranath, VU2 RVJ, Somshekhar Kumur, VU3 HCJ, Balaji, VU3 Papa Zulu Alpha, Somshekhar, VU3 JBI, and of course, the veteran Radio Ham, Air Commodore V Subramaniam, VU2 UV. We also have Somshekhar VU3 JBA as the Director for Regional Coordination. And we have two regional coordinators, one for North and West. Kaustav VU2 Triple U is managing the coordination for North, and Rajesh Vagadia VU2 EXP for West. And I take on the additional responsibility for public relations as well. And
Nitin,
it's a
the
very
screen
small
sharing has
organization.
Nitin, you have
Currently, we
to
have around 70 life members in AMSAT India.
Nitin, you have to share the screen.
Am I not sharing?
no,
No.
when you change, I
Stop.
think it's enough.
Oh, hold on 1 second. What happened? Okay, how about now? I think the sharing dropped for some reason.
Go to full screen.
Yeah, I'm doing it 1 second. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so I was talking about the office bearers. I think the sharing had dropped, so I'm resharing that file. I think all of you can see. So these are the office bearers, and being a very small organization, we have around 70 life members in the organization. And here we want to touch base about some of the past activities, what we have done from HAMSAT India. So the first and the very high visibility one was with respect to the HAMSAT. That is the AMSAT designator was VO52, designed, developed, and launched by ISRO on in 2005 on board the PSLV-C6 mission, and we also call it as the India's goodwill uh, ham ambassador in space. So HAMSAT VO52, AMSAT India had played a very important role in coordinating with ISRO on the HAMSAT project, largely in the area of payload configuration, testing, in-orbit performance, evaluation, and user interface. So the whole concept of HAMSAT started with the HAMFest in Bangalore in 1998, where we had former ISRO chairman Dr. Kasturi Rangan, who mentioned in the during the HAMFest that Indian hams should think about building their own satellite, and that is how we started working with ISRO. On building a amateur radio satellite from India. So HAMSAT was launched by PSLV C6 on May 5th, 2005, and was operational almost more than a decade until July 11th, 2004. And from a configuration point of view, it had two transponders. These were linear transponders in UV configuration, basically UHF uplink and VHF downlink. These were bent pipe transponders. So anything that you feed in would be coming out of the transponder. And especially for if you look at the usage model for linear transponders, we don't use FM on these transponders because it puts a lot of strain on the battery and the power. But specifically for Indian hams, we made an exception where most of the Indian hams were active on FM on both these linear transponders. Until end of life, AMSAT India was in constant touch with the AMSAT organizations around the world and also the user community, and remained as a focal point with ISRO and in partnership, of course, with the Upagraha Amateur Radio Club, which is part of ISRO. And these are the salient features of the Indian payload. As I mentioned, we had two payloads there, and these are the specifications. The mass of the satellite was 42 kgs. It was inserted into a near circular polar low Earth orbit, and of course, as I mentioned, it was the uplink was UHF, downlink was VHF, and it also had VHF for telecommand and telemetry, and the antennas were basically a UHF turnstile and a VHF turnstile. And as you can see, the uplink frequency and the downlink frequency on the satellite. And this was completely autonomous with very minimal support required from the ground. And as you can see over here, the extensive, these photographs itself tells everything. Extensive meetings were there as part of this project, both from AMSAT India, Upagraha Amateur Radio Club, and then the and ISRO. So, as you can see, many of the AMSAT India members and Upagraha Amateur Radio Club members participated in regular meetings to make sure that this project was successful. And this is a very interesting photograph of Dr. P.S. Goyal, the then director of ISAC, listening to two-way QSOs being recorded on a cassette player and brought in, for him to get an idea that how amateur radio operators are communicating using the amateur radio satellites. And this is some of the testings that were done. You can see Subramani there on the thermovac chamber, and some of the other testings, which was done on the HAMSAT at ISAC Bangalore. And here you can see William Legener, the designer and developer of the second linear transponder that we had on HAMSAT with the VU to UV Air Commodore Subramaniam, and also we have some of the other hams as well. And this is after the satellite was launched, we had an opportunity to go and thank all those at ISRO who actually made this project, realize this project. And you can see Dr. P.S. Goyal and all the senior people at ISRO, and of course the AMSAT India team at the bottom right side corner, meeting up with them to thank them for realization of this project. AMSAT India also issued an award called as VO52 Award, and this was actually released during one of our symposium that we had in Bangalore. And you can see Ramesh releasing the award, and at the bottom, the first award that was released for TK3WN, Mike Rupert, who's a very famous AM and helping the community for decoding telemetry from the amateur radio satellites. And after some time, the touch transponder was also turned on, and the touch transponder was in hold for many, many years, but it did respond back to the command sent to turn it on. And this is the beacon that was heard from the touch transponder. And sadly, the AMSAT stopped functioning, and this was one of the emails that was sent by Subramani on the global AMSAT BB forum and other forums. That we AMSAT has stopped working, and then particularly thanking Chairman ISRO, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, past Chairman Dr. Kasturi Rangan, Dr. Madhavan Nair, Director ISAC, Dr. S.K. Shivkumar, SAC Directors, Dr. P.S. Goyal, Dr. Shankara, Dr. T.K. Alex, Director of ISTRAC, uh, and of course from the if you see apart from that, from the amateur radio from AMSAT India side, it was mainly Nagesh Upadhyay, NUD, VU to BGS, Gajendra Kumar, VU to POP, Pratap Kumar, Air Commodore Subramaniam, VU to UV, VP Sandlas, VU to VP, uh, Ramesh, VU to RMS, and then William Legener, PE1 RAH, and all those people basically who were responsible for the successful implementation of this project. Apart from that, we were also involved in some of the in-house R&D. What you see over here is some of the projects that we had undertaken. Development of a UV linear transponder, and then CubeSat communication subsystem. These were some of the projects that we had taken up internally as well. And what you see over here is a CubeSat form system that was developed in-house. And apart from that, we also had developed some antennas which could benefit the amateur radio fraternity. What you see over here is a cross Yagi for UHF and VHF, which was designed. Now I want to touch base upon the second project from AMSAT India. We call it as AISAT-1. This is basically APRS digipeater, and the whole project came up when ISRO offered us a proposal to offer the spent fourth stage of the PSLV rocket as an orbiting platform itself with payloads attached to it. And in December 2018, ISRO offered the POEM platform and asked AMSAT India to provide an amateur radio payload, which would be the first experimental payload in the world to use the spent fourth stage as an orbital platform. So we took up this challenge from ISRO, and then we had an discussion with Exceed Space, and we contracted Exceed Space to design and build the AISAT-1 payload. So here you can see terrestrial testing of the payload from Farhan view to Echo Sierra Echo's QTH. We did extensive testing over there, and AMSAT India members and office bearers were at Hyderabad for many times to realize this payload and also the testing. So you can see over here, Exceed Space handing over the AISAT Jupiter payload to AMSAT India, and as you can see in the photograph, it was weighing 660 grams. So this is when the AISAT-1 Digipeater payload arrived in Bangalore. So this is basically my home QTH. I got it from Hyderabad, and we did some testing as well. And finally, it was moved to Upagraha Amateur Radio Club, URC at the UR Rao Satellite Center, where we did some extensive on-air testing. And then with the help of ISRO, as you can see over here, there was prior to the environmental test, there was good amount of mechanical and electrical improvement that were done at the various stages at URSC by AMSAT India and Upagraha Amateur Radio Club to qualify the payload for flight worthiness. So you can see some of the photographs over here where we had to actually make those improvements to qualify this for flight. And the same photographs over here, you can see the great help that we received from ISRO through the Upagraha Amateur Radio Club in making these improvements to the payload. And this is basically the climatic condition tests, hot and cold cyclic tests that were done at URSC, at ISRO, and you can see various AMSAT India team members, and also from Space, where we are present, working day and out to perform this test. And this is a slide which shows basically the vibration test being performed on the payload at ISRO. And again, some of the photographs of the payload on the vibration table. And then you can see this is the thermovac test performed on the payload, and you can see V2WMY money taking some measurements, and this was all done day and night because we had a very tight timeline to qualify this and for flight. So we had to spend a lot of time at ISRO to qualify this payload. And these are also some of the photographs for the EMI and the EMC test of the payload being conducted. And then finally, once everything was qualified, this was carried to Elix Trivandrum for the electrical compatibility checks with the PSLV equipment bay. And as you can see, we had booked a separate seat for the for the payload in the bus when we transported this from Bangalore to Trivandrum. And finally, withstood all the test loads successfully, qualified as flight worthy for the mission, was cleared for integration with the PSLV C-45 orbital platform, and uh, and we were a few privileged people who were able to see the PSLV rocket close until the fourth stage, um, as the payload was integrated onto the PS4 platform. And finally, the uh, AISAT was launched on 1st of April 2019, and you can see over here the admit pass that we had to witness the launch from the Mission Control Center at Sriharikota. This is really a privilege, and it could not have been possible if it was not for AMSAT India. So it's really a privilege we were able to sit in the Mission Control Center and witness the launch of this particular payload. And as I mentioned earlier, this is an experimental amateur radio payload on the fourth stage of the PSLV, and basically, it had a automatic packetting reporting system with the digipeater, and it's mainly using 145 825 megahertz. That's the global APRS frequency for satellites on AX-25, and then it was also the data from the payload was relayed to the internet through satellite gateways on the ground. So you can see some of the traffic that is being gated to the internet system. So there were many ground stations that were tracking the APRS payload using the NORAD designator 44101. And then these are the first signals from the payload. Subsequently to the launch on April 1st, I still remember that we were driving back from Sriharikota to Chennai, and we had created some awareness about this payload on global community. And then, as we were driving from Sriharikota to Chennai, the first signals from the APRS payload were heard within 4 minutes of power on by Dimitri, Romeo 4 Uniform Alpha Bravo in Russia. So we received the reports that the signals were heard, and then the second report was heard by Mike Report DK3WN in Germany. So many of the stations we had notified them in advance, keeping into mind when the power on would occur and the footprint of the payload, and that is how we were able to get a confirmation that the payload was operational. And these are some of the reports from worldwide, and also from India. We had Dr. Ravindranath due to RBJ at IIST Trivandrum, who also received the signals and was able to digipede to the payload. And you can see Juliet Alpha Zero, Charlie Alpha Whiskey, Japan, who also shared some of the reports. And as you can see, um, we had received many reports, from radio hams worldwide, and the ground stations at Upagraha Amateur Radio Club, due to URC, IIST, and also myself, were able to receive and DGP the payload. And these are some of the ground station and antennas that were used. And the key thing about this experiment was this PS4 experiment and the APRS payload on the platform has created a lot of excitement. And the pre-launch Canadian elements help predict the passes all over the globe. Amateur radio stations provide monitoring the beacon and repeating using various kinds of antenna and power levels. Those using directional gain antennas and higher power levels were more successful than who were using omnidirectional. And it was a very key observation that we had. And subsequently, we have plans if we go for a similar payload next time. What are the improvements that we need to do from a design perspective? There were many who were using software-defined radios and omnidirectional antenna to receive the signals, decode and have hearing. And some of them they were not able to decode, but they were able to hear the packet burst. So this is a amateur radio satellite gateway, basically feeding APRS data to the internet servers, and this you can find on pcsat.findyou.com or aprs.fi. And finally, due to the success of this mission, we had an opportunity to meet up with Dr. Sivan, chairman of ISRO, the post-launch, and also had an opportunity to discuss about the future projects for amateur radio in space, including geostationary payload. So you can see the AMSAT India office bearers here with Dr. Sivan, and then we also honored them for enabling this opportunity for us, and thanking ISRO for providing us this wonderful opportunity. And we are sure that we have met their expectations. And of course, this calls for a celebration. So this is basically all of us meeting up over a lunch for successfully completing this project. And talking about the present, we had recently had a project partnering with Sri Jagadguru Chandrasekharantha Swamiji Institute of Technology, which is called as SGCIT, located in Chikbalapur in Karnataka, in developing a payload called as ARPIT for the POEM platform. So as you can see, the partners in this project were Upagraha Amateur Radio Club from UR Rao Satellite Center, who actually designed the payload. And ARPIT stands for Amateur Radio Payload for Information Transmissions. And this payload had three capabilities. One is audio announcement, second is SSTV images, and third one was APRS Digipita. So the role of AMSAT India in this project was basically providing the configuration, coordination, liaison with IARU, WPC, and ISRO, project reviews, ground station design and installation support, ground and on-air testing, user interface, and ground station support. So this was launched in the last week of December, and it was on the PSLV C60 SpaceX mission, which I think all of you are aware. So this was the logo for the mission. And then, as I mentioned, the payload configuration was a transmission of a pre-recorded audio message, APRS Digipita, and transmission of 10 SSTV images. This was in sequence, and there was a sequence in which these payloads were activated. And as you can see on the left side of the image, that the one in the black box is actually the payload, and next to that is the antenna. It's the F antenna which was built, and then this was mounted on the last stage of the PSLV. And you can also see the SSTV images from the payload being received by radio hams in India. We thank all the radio hams in India for standing by and giving us reception reports of SSTV images that we received, and also on the APRS payload. So we thank everyone for providing us this support. And this is a photograph of the space qualified BGS ARPIT payload. As you can see, how professionally it was done, and all the soldering of components also, it was very professionally, done. And post the completion of this, post the launch of this payload, AMSAT India also provided an award, basically for all those people who submitted reception reports from this payload, whether it's the pre-recorded audio message, SSTV images, and digipeating through the payload. So I'm very happy to share that our own Lakshman, VU to LBW, Lucky, was the first station to receive the audio message, APRS telemetry, and SSTV images from this BGS ARPIT payload once it was powered on. So this is a special award which was given to him for standing by and helping us to receive the payload, thereby confirming that the payload was functional. Okay. So the payload is still working. It has been switched on and off by ISRO. We are still waiting for them to turn it on, and the payload is active, and many of you can still go and receive the signals from this payload. And talking about the future, we have AMSAT India submitted proposed to ISRO for amateur radio payloads. One is the HAMSAT-2 at a much higher orbit, so that it's more stronger, sensitive satellite, higher coverage area, extended duration of availability, all band, all mode payloads, and interactive beacon. And these are some of the uh, specifications of what we have proposed at an orbit of about 17K kilometers. And then if you look at the range and visibility over any given location, this could be the availability of almost about 140 minutes at 0 degree, 110 minutes at 15 degrees, and 100 minutes at 25 degrees. So this is some of the simulations that we did based on at my location, and you can see the footprint of this. And this is also a simulation for the other circular orbit, as you can see over here at a slightly lower orbit compared to the previous one. And I think in 2022, or I think prior to that, we also made a presentation to ISRO for a payload in the geostationary orbit. We had actually written directly to the Prime Minister's office, and our proposal was forwarded to the Department of Space, and they called us for a meeting, and we had a discussion with them about a payload in the geostationary orbit. Basically, as an Indian amateur radio service, as a sustainable program, primarily to assist during relief and rescue operations and during natural calamities and disasters. So you can see over here the orbital parameters at 42,165 kilometers, and then at a range of about given the elevation, what could be the range of the. Yeah, again, this is not a dedicated satellite that we were asking for. We were asking for a payload in one of the geo platforms. And this is a simulation that was done over due to WMY's location, and you can see the footprint of such a geostationary payload. And again, this is a 24/7 ham transponder for during natural calamities and disasters, and a better and effective relief and rescue national resource, and facilitate availability of more timely and very effective ham radio emergency network stations across the country, um, help more than 50 countries across the entire Indian Ocean region. Again, this is a proposal which is still there. We'll continue to interact with ISRO, but now it is through InSpace. any such request has to go through in space currently. And this is the current initial thoughts of the payload configuration. Basically, a linear transponder, a non-inverting bent pipe transponder, which can handle narrowband modes like SSP, CW, and PSK, 250 kilohertz allocated bandwidth, X-band downlink, that's a 10.4 gigahertz in the amateur satellite service. Uplink, the option one is to have on 435 megahertz, but again, the antenna size considerations needs to be kept in mind. Then the uplink option two is S-band on 2.4 gigahertz. So from a ground segment point of view, low cost receiving hardware comprising of satellite dish antenna, LNB, power injector, and SDR, and also need to develop low cost uplink system comprising of transverters and amplifiers. Now already these are available in the ecosystem used for the QO100 SL2 satellite. We also are very much involved in the educational outreach activities. The team at AMSAT India, we have presented topics related to amateur radio satellite communication and space communications at various educational institutes, mainly engineering colleges, local club, HAMFest, and also during the World Space Week in India. We have consecutively for the past 2 years, we have been participating in the World Space Week at the Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium in Bangalore. Hundreds of visitors visited our stall, and they got insights about amateur radio and amateur radio satellite communication. Many of us are active, as you can see the names and call signs from the members and office bearers from AMSAT India who spend their valuable time on such promotional activities. You can see some of the photographs over here. We also organized a visit to the Mars to see the Mars orbiter satellite orbiter in ISRO. And then you can see over here many of these outreach programs. We have you to EXP, who actually conducts these programs as well, and other members of AMSAT India. And as I mentioned earlier, we continue to mark our presence at campus in India, World Space Week at Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium, academic institutions for technical talks, global AMSAT symposiums where we attend virtually, online forums like AMSAT BP, and then the local discussion groups on WhatsApp in India. So this is a key highlight which I want to share with all of you on the amateur radio from India human spaceflight program. As you are all aware of the Gaganyaan mission, so in close partnership with the Upagraha Amateur Radio Club, a proposal was submitted to ISRO, and a proposal accepted by ISRO, and the lead will be taken by the Upagraha Amateur Radio Club, partnering with AMSAT India, and we need to work on the next steps. And work in progress with ARIS for the Indian astronaut, as you all know, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, who is going to fly to the International Space Station soon. He is currently undergoing training at Axiom and also in NASA Houston. So, Upagraha Amateur Radio Club and AMSAT India office bearers. This is a photograph with the astronaut designates during their amateur radio training that we imparted to them at the Human Spaceflight Center in Bangalore. So you can see over here Prashant Nair, fourth from the left, and then we have Ajit Krishnan, fifth from the left, and then Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, sixth from the left. So we actually had almost about 3 to 4 days sessions with them, and we imparted training related to ham radio and space, introduction to ham radio, practical perspectives of space communication, real-time tracking, and we covered all the syllabus that is required for them to take the general grade license, and then of course Morse code training. So all these people picked up the content that we're sharing with them very sharp, and this will help them to be active when they fly either on the ISS mission and also on the Gaganyaan. So these are the activities what I wanted to share in the past and in the present and the future. It is a very small team where we have put in a lot of efforts, and not only efforts but also monetarily spending money from our pockets in realization of all these projects, programs, educational outreach programs, and many of these things. And also, we would like to thank many people who support us, encourage us, in all these projects and programs. So it has been a great pleasure doing this activities for AMSAT India. So I would also invite Mani to say a few comments. Mani, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Madhu?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Madhu. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, video streaming is there.
No, you can open your camera.
Okay. Am I? Is it okay? Nitin, you have to close
Yeah.
your screen sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see you, Mani. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, firstly, sincere thanks to ARSI, in particular to the President, Secretary, and Treasurer Madhu, for giving us a wonderful opportunity to meet you all through this virtual mode. And thanks to AMSAT India President Ramesh, who's also watching, and all the office bearers. And we hope that with the limited numbers of people, number of people, and the monetary benefits in the sense of having the financial situation, I hope we have done to some extent completed 3 projects now. And we are sure that we'll be doing much more better in the coming days, and looking forward for the support, encouragement from all the Indian ham fraternity. So thank you, Nitin, for making a wonderful presentation. And sure, we can meet and interact with our ham radio fraternity across the country very often. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to say hi to you. And so I'll say 73, and wishing everyone a wonderful day and a great weekend. So bye from Mani from Bangalore. So thank you everyone.
Thank you, Nitin. We to JEK, and thank you, Mani. We to WMY for a very elaborate and very nice presentation. A lot of which I was not even aware of. There's so much behind the organization and the people who have made it big, successfully with many projects, and having a vision for many more activities in the coming years. Thank you, Nitin. We will look forward for the second part of the program next month on the 2nd of March, the first Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Thank you once again, Mani. Thank you very much. Back to you, Madhu, for any final words. VTMUD. Thank you so much.
Madhu, any
Okay.
queries or anything?
No, that's what I was coming to. There's been only one query so far from one Shabir Vejlani. He was asking, does AMSAT do SSTV transmissions?
Yeah. So yeah, the SSTV transmissions is from basically the SSTV transmissions. As you can see, it's happening from our BGS ARPIT payload at this moment, and it is transmitting almost about 10 images. And apart from that, there are other SSTV transmissions happening from the International Space Station and many other satellites.
Yeah, I think Shabir got confused because AMSAT does not directly do the SSTV transmission. It is only the developer of the satellite who creates that facility. Correct, Nitin?
Right. So these are basically from various projects, like what I mentioned, from the International Space Station.
Go ahead, Nitin.
Any other queries, questions?
Okay, no, nothing else has come up, Nitin. In fact, Nitin and Mani, when you are talking about the Vivo 52, I was remembering our presentation from the ham users side on the fifth anniversary of the HAMSAT at ISTRAC Bangalore, where it was a real eye opener for all of us. We were thinking that we didn't even know the number of people who would be involved with a small project like HAMSAT. We found more than 200 people who are actively involved with the monitoring and upkeep, housekeeping of a small non-commercial satellite like HAMSAT, Money.
Yeah, the true Madhu. See, because it was a dedicated satellite, a separate team has to be formed, right from the design, from the mechanical, electrical, and electronics, and the propulsion, everything, and of course the PSLV team, and also the ground controllers and mission specialists, designers, everyone. So it's a quite a large group, and nearly, as you said, about 150 to 200 people worked on that cute little satellite, and it was a fantastic satellites. And really, we miss hamsat vivo 52 for its sensitivity and very powerful downlink signals, and rock steady performance, the purity of the signals, and spectral purity. It was a wonderful satellite. Really, we miss that vivo 52, but certainly we are working in that direction. So hope soon that we will also have a follow-up like a HAMSAT 2, and may not be up to 40 kgs. Now everything we are going to shrink it. So maybe with a 3U configuration, we can come up with a similar or a much better utilization and design aspects. So we are sure about it. So anyway, whatever the opportunities we get, AMSAT India, keep pressing and making the proposals to ISRO, and so we are also a little bit successful, getting one after the other. So we hope that we will also soon get a hamsat 2 and also a payload in the geostationary. So, and really we are happy, so many of our people including you and so many others were using hamsat vo52 very regularly. So that was a fantastic story, Madhu. We'll stand by god.
Okay, QSL Money. Johnson, I think this is due to Juliet Oscar. This is for you, Nitin, as the secretary of AMSAT India. When are you planning to open AMSAT India for new members?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's always open. It's always open. We Anybody interested who wants to become a life member of AMSAT India can fill up the form that is available on amsatindia.org, and they can send it to us. Uh, at this moment, we have only the life membership category that is open. So go ahead and fill up the form and send it to us. We will review it, and the people can become members of AMSAT India and also join us in all the projects and programs that we have.
Okay, thank you, Nitin. And view to UKR, UK is asking where to get updates on ARPIT. Any website or to look at the status of ARPIT, Nitin?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the BGS ARPIT payload is completely controlled by ISRO, and we get updates from ISRO when they're going to turn it on, and that is what we are sharing in some of the WhatsApp groups that we have. That is a VUSAT WhatsApp group, and also the Leo WhatsApp group that we have. We are sharing updates over there. Anybody interested can join that WhatsApp group so that they can get these updates on the schedule for BGS Circuit.
Okay. Any other posting on the open groups, or how do we?
Yeah, I do post it on Twitter. I do post it on AMSAT BB. So you can look out for my updates on at these places as well.
Okay, right. The Twitter and other handles is under your name or under AMSAT India? Nitin?
Yeah, go ahead, Gudu.
No, I was asking the Twitter and other places where you
Yeah, you can
posted.
just search for my call sign VU2JEK_Nitin. That's my Twitter handle.
Okay, right. So because people will now know where to look out for those updates. Uh, no other queries have come up so far, and we are. Okay, nothing has come up. So, thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Mani, for the wonderful presentation and introduction to AMSAT India. And next month, 2nd of March, morning 10:30, we'll be having the next session on satellite working the LEOs and any other satellites. The other details will be shared by Mani and Nitin, or any of the other team members may also join in. We'll update you all on the next schedule through the groups. Do keep subscribed to our YouTube channel so that you get the alerts directly. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Mani. Ramesh, for your final closing comments.
Yeah. Once again, I wish to thank Nitin, you to JEK, and Mani, we to WMY, and the whole team behind AMSAT India for this presentation and for all the good work that is being done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh, and thank you, Madhu, and all the YouTube viewers for taking time this Sunday morning and to be with us. And it's a good initiative by ARSI, and we are also looking forward for the webinars every month, and hope that many people will come forward and to participate and to take this for a very long time. So thank you, Madhu, thank you, Ramesh, and all the office bearers of ARSI and all the viewers. Once again, all have a wonderful Sunday. Bye.
Thank
Roger,
you. Bye-bye.
73 by all round.
Thank you, Ramesh, and thank you, Madhu, and thanks to RSI and all the viewers on YouTube. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nitin. Bye bye. Wonderful
Okay,
Bye.
stream has
presentation.
ended. Stream has ended.
Bye.
Okay, find a wonderful